I've had enough. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. This anti-police, anti-white rhetoric needs to come to an end. I have had enough. I've had enough. I made a video earlier about my son getting a notification on his EA Sports Madden game talking about Black Lives Matter and oppression of black people, which is an opinion by some. It's not verifiable, unequivocal facts, but yet they push it on young people. And then one of my good friends, who happened to be white, and the funny thing is we have the same last name, we go on rides together, and he showed me on the app, the Strava app, that you just upload your rides to. Everybody have a good time. You like people's stuff. If you see their rides, they're impressive. Pro riders are on there. Everybody's having a good time. Why on God's green earth do they feel they need to give an advisory about how they've been a racist organization all this time? And that black people need special treatment, and you need to give us handouts and worry about black athletes. Listen, man, as a black man in America, and I've been black for 33 years, I am sick of the pandering. I'm sick of the false equivalence. I'm sick of people painting the picture like I am less than in my own country. This country belongs to me just like anybody else. I have never experienced racism in America. I haven't. That doesn't mean that other people haven't. But I don't have to walk around with my head down, walking around acting like a victim when I haven't had nothing to do with that. And none of the people that I know are racist. I don't know a racist. I've never been around racists. Why do I have to be subject to idea that people are forcing on me just because of the color of my skin? It makes no sense to me. And then I have a lot of friends who are white. It's not fair that I can have a say and I can talk about my opinions about the American flag. I can give my statements about Black Lives Matter and how ridiculous I believe their organization is. This is America. You have the freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to say. Why is it that my white friends don't have that same right? If you say all lives matter.
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. How come white people can't speak their mind anymore? That's fucking what I'm talking about, man. Jesus Christ. Welcome, everybody. Mark's Conte reporting on Columbus Day. Columbus. You remember him? Christopher Columbus. He sailed the ocean blue with the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. 3 ships from Spain, right? Oh, well, man. He's a good guy, right? He was a good guy. Now he's a racist. He had slaves. He had slaves in the West Indies, right? We were there. It's 1492, right? 500 years ago. 500 years ago, we're sure of what Christopher Columbus was doing, right? He wasn't just an explorer. He was a white supremacist explorer, according to the new world order, the new way where whites are supposed to bow to blacks and all that crazy nonsense that's going on. So, Mark Conte reporting. Today we'll go talk about the Jewish community. The Orthodox Jewish community is on fire here in New York City. Should be an example for all people to take note that Heshy Tischler, the Hasidic community leaders, are pissed off. I was choked to death, man. I was saying a donut, man. Hold on. Are pissed off. They're pissed off because they're being prosecuted, literally being fined $150,000 for having religious ceremonies. Now, recall when Black Lives Matter gathered in the street by the tens of thousands, there was no fines, there was nothing. But if you are a law-abiding citizen and you have an actual establishment, an actual address, an actual phone number, an actual business, then the establishment will come in and crush you. They'll start writing fines. They'll try to run you out because you're not obeying. Oh, yeah? We'll take away your liquor license. They'll prevent you from doing business. And that's very much an authoritarian, communist, socialist, whatever you want to call it, way of working. That's not free enterprise. That's not that's targeting people because they have a vulnerability. They have an actual address, and a ticket can be written there. So we're going to look at all this stuff. Heshy Tischler, one of the main voices in the Hasidic community to stop the COVID-19 FF thing that's going on there. This operation to squash everybody and quiet everybody, blaming it on a virus, has been arrested. Heshy Tischler. So we're going to take a look at all that, and that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about today. That's what we're going to talk about. Also, I'm sorry, white privilege too. White privilege. I found a couple of good clips that will. I just played a little piece of it, but it'll make your head, make the hair on your neck stand up when you listen to some of this nonsense that's going on with this white privilege stuff, right? And on that note, right, Marcus Conte. I have Marcus Conte versus the Brooklyn Hospital Center. On that very note, the black man, the very distinguished black security guard that told me, "Get your white privilege out of here. Hey, you, get your white privilege. You got white privilege, motherfucker, white privilege. You motherfucking white privilege. You died, fuck it." He gave me the doodad, right? And he got sued for it. So we'll see what transpires. We're at the around the 6-month mark with the Marcus Conte versus the Brooklyn Hospital Center at the New York State Division of Human Rights. Usually it takes them about 6 months to come out with a probable cause or no probable cause. So whatever we get, if we get, I believe, of course, if you read the documents, if you click on this tab over here, it'll take you over to the page that has all of those legal documents, and you can look at it, right? I filed everything. And also the Trump executive order basically denouncing critical race theory and the white privilege smear. But here's all the documents. So we're waiting for the final doodad to come in from the New York State Division of Human Rights. Win, lose, or draw, we will continue to fight them. Appeal, if that's what it comes to. If it comes to trial, then we will win at that trial, and continue to follow it, because it's a very poignant subject right now, because a lot of people feel like, what the fuck is this white privilege stuff, right? You're blaming me for my ancestors. You're blaming me for, they're not even my ancestors. I'm not from fucking Spain. I'm no Christopher Columbus. My people came from Italy. They were running away from fascism. Look at the history. Look at the history before you start blaming people for stuff that they had no part of. Right? I wasn't there. Right? Blacks. I was not there. I didn't enslave you. My people didn't enslave you. Right? It's just bullshit. Right? But anyway, kindly become a Patreon of this channel. That's how we do it. Hit the tip jar, and that's actually PayPal. And you can do a one-time contribution, or through Patreon as an ongoing support of this channel. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. So what else we got here? So let's start here. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Vinny D. Martini on the ranch, motherfucker. What's up, everybody? Thank you all for joining me. Bill West is here. Dan is here. JBD Golang. Weevil Girl, Cinny Minnie. Hello, Cinny Minnie. Jim Stanford is here as well. Laura Powers, Bob Ross. Everybody's here. So let's just gather in, man. Let's buckle up, man. We gotta go to bat for the Hasids, because the Hasids are fighting the good fight here in Borough Park, Brooklyn. Right? They're doing what no one else will do. Right? Standing up to the motherfuckers. Standing up. They're calling it fake. They're calling the fucking pandemic thing fake. That nobody's dying. It's all bullshit. It's all a power grab. It's all politics. They're playing politics with people's religions here in New York. Eucalyptus. So let's start here. A little off the subject, just a little bit. Trump promises breathtaking documents about Russia probe are coming. Are they really? Let's find out what Trump is going to release for us. President Trump promised that more breathtaking documents pointing to the involvement of Obama administration and Hillary Clinton campaign in the Russia investigation will be coming soon. Why did you wait 3.5 years, 3 3/4 years, almost 4 years, and you haven't done a damn thing? You haven't done a damn thing on that. The press has been doing things like that. We've been doing it. We've been calling it all along here on independent media, telling you that Russiagate was a figment of Hillary Clinton's imagination back in probably March, April, May of 2016, if you recall. They tried to frame Bernie Sanders as a Russian spy, a Russian agent working with the Russians. And when they got caught and failed, they blamed Trump. We already know this stuff. So what kind of fucking documents are you going to give us, Donald? Documents are being released at a level now no one has ever seen before. Things that nobody thought were going to get released have been released, and you're seeing it all the time. You see what's going on. We caught them cold. We have them cold, Trump told Maria Bartiromo on Fox News. Sounds like a little politicking, right? Because people want to see that. They still chanting, lock her up, right? They still want Hillary Clinton to get locked up. But again, we've never. What documents? What are you going to show us? What exactly are you going to show us? We'll hold our breath, Trump, and it doesn't mean it doesn't. It's campaigning, is what it is. Right? Trump wants you to hold your breath, vote for him, and then he's going to release some documents that are not going to really change your life for the better anyway. It's not going to reduce your taxes, your income tax, your property taxes, or your water tax, whatever fuck tax you're paying. It's not going to get you health care. It's not going to make a free and fair media. It's not going to stop the censorship online. It's just going to make you feel good. He's going to release some documents and look how bad Hillary Clinton was, and she's not going to go to jail because she's the wife of a former president. They don't go to jail. They don't go to jail. They're protected for the rest of their life. They have Secret Service around them, God damn it. But anyway, it should be interesting to see the role the FBI played. It's about everything. Hillary Clinton is crooked Hillary. I don't call her that for nothing. So we'll hold our breath and hope that some new information, new documents, as Donald Trump has promised us, will come out. But in the meantime, this is a good story. Enormous pro-Biden display made of hay bales set ablaze in Massachusetts. So there's a fire. Look at that fire. The display of fire at Hollydale Brook Farm in Dalton, Massachusetts. Now, that looks like a blaze right there, people. That's looking like a blaze. An enormous Joe Biden display made of 19 bales of hay was set ablaze across from a Massachusetts farm on Friday. A little tit for tat there. Fucking burning Joe Biden bales of hay. Let's see more. Political message, which read, USA, vote Biden-Harris 2020, was built by Dickin Crane. Dickin Crane. Imagine having that name as a kid. Dickin Crane. Owner of Holiday Brook Farm and a few other helpers a day before it was torched, Boston 25 News reports. So this is what it looked like. USA Biden-Harris 2020. And their bales of hay, and some psychopath, some crazy guy, set it on fire. Huh? The guy who did this was bragging in a bar that he was going to do it in front of a whole bunch of people. And then when he went on to the gas station to get the gas, he was bragging where he was going to do it. That's stupid, man. Bro, if you're going to do something like that, don't do it. Don't broadcast it. Don't go telling everybody and their mama that you're going to go set something on fire. You're going to go set somebody else's property on fire. Just go fucking do it. Crane said the idea to construct the massive display came after other area signs in support of Biden campaign were reportedly stolen. So people knocking down Biden signs, and this guy, these farm people, within their rights to do, right? It's freedom of speech. It's on their own property. I'll take offense to that. Right? You don't go burning people's property, right? If you don't like it, man, why not just spray paint it? Why not just do a counter protest, right? But why do you got to set it on fire? So this guy's going to get fucked for arson. We were seeing a lot of big Trump banners and only a few little small Biden signs that people kept complaining about being stolen. So we got the idea no one's going to steal 1,100-pound round bales. Wow. So that's some heavy shit, 1,100 pounds of hay, and you set that shit on fire, right? We expected there might be some vandalism, but we never expected someone would douse it with gasoline and set it on fire. That's a little too radical for my blood. There's other ways. You could spray paint it, or you know what you can do with this? You could rearrange the letters, right? You could play like fucking retard Scrabble with it, and move the letters around, like spell ass bait or something, bit dick, right? Or turn them upside down. That would be fun, right? At least that would be fun, right? Take the American flags out of it, and mix the letters up. But setting on fire, I think that's a little radical, man, because that shit, especially now with all these burning fires and dry seasons and shit, I'm not with it, man. I'm not with it. But anyway, so let's talk about COVID-19. The next pieces are on that. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has flip-flopped, urging world leaders to stop using lockdowns to fight COVID-19 contagion. Well, I thought that the lockdowns and the masks and the 6-foot distance was the answer to all our problems. I guess not. That's what they had said a long time ago, but now they're changing their tune. The World Health Organization is doing. In a stunning rebuke of the science and the doctors, the leftist politicians and career bureaucrats in the U.S. and across much of the West, the Epoch Times, that's a radical Chinese organization, or organization that opposes China. The Falun Gong people said that the World Health Organization special envoy to COVID-19 has urged world leaders to stop using lockdowns as the primary control method against the spread of the Communist Chinese Party's virus, commonly known as the novel coronavirus. So the Epoch Times, which is run by Falun Gong, the people that feel they've been prosecuted or persecuted by the Chinese government, know who they are, is now using the term spread the Chinese Communist Party virus, the CCP virus. That's what they call it. That sounds like Trump, the China virus. Right. So it's just a tremendous flip-flop. You can't believe these people. That's the point. The CDC comes out with something new every day. Today it's germs can live on money and credit cards for 72 days. Or I'll show you in a second. I got the next one queued up. But we in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as the primary means of control of this virus, said Dave Nabarro. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, and rebalance your resources. Protect your health, workers who are exhausted. That's when you're supposed to use a lockdown, but they use lockdowns for everything, right? Religious, as you're going to see with the Orthodox Jews, they were locked down. No more than 10 people in that synagogue. That's too many. We're going to give you a fine. We're going to fine you. Let's listen to this cracker.
From Oxford University on. But we had Professor Sunetra Gupta from Oxford University on, and she was implying, and I'm interested in you because you have a global mandate, a global view, was that a problem we don't think about in lockdowns is that they're very nationalistic. That if we lock down our economy, then it hits our economy. But it also means we are not buying stuff. We're not trading with weaker economies. Yep. We are not just destroying our own jobs. We're destroying the jobs of all those that in the poorer parts of the world that export to us. That seemed to me to be a reasonable point.
Really important point by Professor Gupta. I want to say it again. We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of this virus. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather not do it. Just look at what's happened to the tourism industry, for example, in the Caribbean or in the Pacific. because people aren't taking their holidays. Look what's happened to smallholder farmers all over the world because their markets have got dented. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may well have a doubling of world poverty by next year. We may well have at least a doubling of child malnutrition because children are not getting meals at school and their parents in poor families are not able to afford it. This is a
It's nice to see the World Health Organization finally coming around, isn't it?
terrible, ghastly global catastrophe, actually. And so we really do appeal to all world leaders. Stop using lockdown as your primary control method. Develop better systems for doing it. Work together and learn from each other. But remember, lockdowns just have one consequence that you must never, ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer.
So that was good, right? He's talking about interconnectivity. He's talking about the interconnection. When we lock down our community or our place, right? Nobody takes vacations, so all those vacation spots starve the Caribbean, all over the world, right? People will go on vacations. People that we basically consume less, therefore we pay less abroad, and it hurts people. It hurts the global economy. So now people are starting to figure it out. You keep screaming lockdown, lockdown, lock this down, lock that down. And that was a good little report. So thank you, WHO. We got to give credit where credit is due. Maybe you should apologize for saying it in the first place, or pointing people towards lockdowns in the first place. So here's more ridiculousness. I said 72 days. It's 28 days. Listen to this. COVID-19 can survive on banknotes, phone screens for 28 days. This is folly. This is bullshit. All right, come on, man. I studied fucking microbiology, especially if there's sun or there's light. What they're saying now is that even on your computer screen. So if you got a screen, right? Hold on a second. Right, so you're on the train and you got and the fucking somebody sneezes or whatever, and they're trying to say that your computer screen is a spreader as well. All right, this is all bullshit. It's just bullshit. First of all, viruses have a very, very, very hard time living ex vitro. Ex vitro means outside of the cell. Once they're outside of your body, they're susceptible to ultraviolet light, to wind, to chemicals, to it's very, very hard to transmit in that way. All right, that's what it is, right? It's very hard to transmit, but nonetheless, they're trying to say for 28 fucking days, a virus can live on your computer screen or on a banknote. I guess that's a dollar bill. Is that a banknote? Let's find out. The virus that causes COVID-19 can survive for longer than previously thought. Remaining infectious on surfaces such as banknotes, glass, phone screens, and stainless steel for 28 days, according to a new study. By comparison, the flu virus has been shown to survive on surfaces for 17 days. The fact is, if you're out in the sunlight, right? If you are outside and there is sun, right? Ultraviolet light, the virus can't last more than a few minutes. Doesn't any virus, anything outside of the body. In the perfect situation, if you sneeze into a petri dish, right, or some other way of containing the feeding the life force, it's gonna fucking die. So they're lying. They're definitely fucking lying. Researchers at Australia's science agency C0 conducted the experiment on the COVID-19 blah 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 at 68 degrees room temperature, and in the dark to remove the effects of ultraviolet light. As studies have shown, ultraviolet light can kill the bug. So it's important to get outside. I ride the city bike. All the bikes are outside in the rain and the snow, in the sun, the heat. There's no fucking virus going to survive on that shit. And that's only if you're very unhealthy will it attack you. And if it does attack you, it's not going to kill you. See the big scare? It's a big bullshit. Quote, so in the real world, I'm almost tired of talking about this, man. How many times can you say it's bullshit? How many times can you call it a false flag? How many times can you can you, point out to people that how many days can I walk around without a mask and never get sick and never get infected and just, it's just, the flu season's coming. I'm very cautious of that. Try to stay healthier. Try to stay vigilant. Really, when it's flu season, you don't go around touching everything. When you see somebody coughing and sneezing, you get away from them because you don't want to get the flu. And now you get this little COVID thing, an extra 1% chance that it'll, cause a little extra problems. You don't want to be doing that, but that's flu season. You don't fucking walk around outside on the beach, walking around the city streets with a mask on, thinking that you're helping yourself, thinking that because I have the mask, I'm superior in terms of my germ spreading or lack thereof. Fucking crazy, man. It's fucking nuts. So believe it or not, researchers at Australia's science agency, they did a test. Quote, in the real world, results would likely be shorter than what we are able to show, said the lead researcher. Yeah, no shit. Longer by fucking what? How many days are they saying? 30? How many days? 28 days. Yeah, it's longer by about 27 and 3/4 days longer. It really reinforces the importance of washing hands, sanitizing where possible, and certainly wiping down surfaces that may be in contact with the virus. Total bullshit. So SARS virus particles, which cause COVID-19, isolated from a patient in the United States. Ooh, look at this. Oh, look at the picture. There it is, the bug. Look at it, fucking COVID-19. It's fucking bullshit. In the study, the virus was dried in an artificial mucus on a variety of surfaces at concentrations similar to the samples from coronavirus patients and then recovering the bug over a month. This is just crazy. Experiments done 68 degrees, 86 degrees, and 104 degrees showed the virus survived longer at cooler temperatures, longer on smooth surfaces, and longer on paper bank notes than on plastic ones. Total bullshit. The study also found that viruses stop being infectious within 24 hours at 104 degrees. So heating things up, sun, right? Heating shit up, melting shit down, wiping stuff. That's all. That's all we're saying, man. Carry, in flu season, just carry your spray, man. This is my spray. Right? Ooh. So that's my spray. That's my alcohol spray. And I don't walk around with it, but I'll use it. I'll use it on a surface. I'll use it on a funny doorknob if I think. I'll squirt the fucking doorknob. If I think if somebody sneezes in their hand, because people touch their face all the time. They're touching these stupid masks. They're picking their nose. They're picking their teeth, right? They're eating under the mask now. That's a new thing. Right? I see people see the mask going like this. Right? They're eating under the mask. So anyway, this is a little shit story. A little more story. So here we go. So this is, thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you everybody for being here. We are now approaching the main part of our program today. Thank you very much for coming. It's raining here in New York, so if you're in the East Coast, you're not missing much. It's cold too, man. It's like 51 degrees. That's pretty cold. 51 and rain. That's fucking worst combination. Cold in the cold November rain. So New York City authorities handed out $150,000 in fines for COVID-19 violations just this weekend. So the crackdown has begun. They're shaking down citizens now. Shaking motherfuckers down. Right? New York authorities have dished out over $150,000 in penalties since Friday in the city's new coronavirus hot zones, including 5 fines for religious gatherings. 5 fines for religious gatherings. That's more than half of the $150,000. It's a $15,000 fine. Now, I'll tell you right now, and you can hold me to it, I will guarantee you 100% without a doubt that the Hasidic community, the Orthodox Jewish community will not be paying no $60,000. No way. They will show up. They will fight you for years. For years, they'll take you to Supreme Court, the real Supreme Court with the 9 justices, and make sure that they don't pay that fine. They will fight you. So let's just see how they shelled it out. Most people in the city will be like, "Oh no, we don't want any trouble." Right? The city targets soft targets. They'll give a fine to I don't know, like the Apple Store or something. Oh, you had 17 people when you're only allowed to have 16, and they just pay the fine. But the Hasids are not going to do that. They're going to fucking fight them. So some 62 fines have been dispensed under the new crackdown in Brooklyn and Queens, according to a Sunday Afternoon Post. You gotta stop this shit, man. You gotta stop this now because, as I said, whatever happens in New York City is going to spread around the fucking country. New York tends to be 5 to 10 years ahead of the lunacy. Even if it's good, like good trends like fashion and music trends tend to start here and then work their way out of the country. But craziness like this is also starts here and works its way around the country. The 6-figure sum represents a different approach compared to a recent, far more anemic stab at enforcement by the city. So they're cracking down. They're revving up the engines. City sources noted that 5 of the fines, for the maximum allowable penalty of $15,000 apiece, were issued to the organizers of Orthodox religious gatherings in Borough Park, Brooklyn, that each drew hundreds of people. So they were only allowed to have 10 people at max, drew hundreds. So that's a giant fuck you to the establishment. The Orthodox Jews are leading the way. Guaranteed, nobody's wearing no masks and all shit. It's a religious holiday. They've been doing this for thousands of years. Now you're going to come in and tell them they can't have their religious practice? Well, I beg to differ. So they all in Borough Park, all in the same place with Heshy Tischler, the guys right over here, right? Like I said, I would go there, but I've had experiences with the Hasidic community that it's not unpleasant. It's just very, very stonewall. They will stonewall you. They won't talk to you. They're very suspicious. They don't know who you are, right? And you saw that one reporter, apparently a Hasidic Jew reporter for one of the local papers. The Jews didn't like what he said. Like they read everything. They followed that guy, and they didn't like what he said, and they beat the shit out of him, or they stomped him, which wasn't very nice. But that's what I'm talking about going into the Hasidic community. You really don't learn much. I did it with the hospitals. I went over to Maimonides Hospital. Remember when we saw the refrigerator trucks with the alleged frozen COVID-19 deads in there, the dead bodies? I didn't see anything. We didn't see nothing but trucks on the street, man. And they come at you. But so that's one of the reasons I'm not really heading over there because it's also very unpredictable. I don't know when this shit is going to happen, and I'm not going to go to a synagogue and say, "Look, there's 100 people inside the synagogue," because that's bullshit. That's not being on the right side of history. That's not being with the people protesting, right? By ratting them out or snitching. So that's why I'm not really going over there. But anybody who's listening from that community that would like to share their thoughts on this program, I am definitely wide open if you want to talk. So sometimes violent protests raged last week in the community following Governor Andrew Cuomo's decision to close non-essential businesses and restrict the size of religious gatherings in the pockets of Brooklyn and Queens experiencing coronavirus spikes. No evidence to suggest that there are coronavirus spikes in these areas. It's all based on false testing. Test. Everybody has a little coronavirus in them. Maybe 15% of the population's walking around with some brand of coronavirus. And that's what they detect. 40% of the time, it's wrong. 40% of the time, this testing is false. And that's what they're shutting down religious gatherings on false information. And the Jews are seeing it, right? They're definitely seeing it. Finally. Only when it came to their doorstep did they fucking have a problem with it, right? If it's happening down the block, you don't see the Jews get in open arms. But now, my people, they're being prosecuted. My people, now that my Jewish people, my Jewish brothers and sisters, help us, Trump, help us. They're swinging Trump flags. Right. So, the city sheriff's office also busted up a clandestine rave in Queens Park earlier Sunday, which technically fell outside of the borough's 2 enforcement zones. So, New York City cranking up the nonsense. So here's the story that to me is a little disturbing, right? And there's something that this Heshy Tischler said. I want to show it to you. I forgot to cue it up, but I want to show it to you on YouTube. Right? This Heshy Tischler guy is not the. He seems to be on the up and up, right? For the most part, but there's a little bit of a skeleton in his closet. I want to show you what I'm talking about. Right? I didn't like this when he said it. He attacks a young child. He attacks a young child over an Arab child, and he says, "Oh, what are you going to do? Is your child strapped with bombs?" I can't find it right now, but I really didn't like what he said. Heshy says, "Oh yeah, here it is. So listen, this is fucked up."
Yeshiva world.
Here to stand?
Yeah.
Oh, you brought your little girl.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any bombs on her to blow us up, do you?
He told that child she doesn't. He told the mother of a child she doesn't have any bombs on her, does she? Now that's fucked up. Heshy, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You got to call it out, though, right? That's what that guy said, man. I found it. And
Here to stand?
Yeah.
Oh, you brought your little girl.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any bombs on her to blow us up, do you?
Hear me.
that's just straight up cold fucking potatoes right there. I'm not really feeling that, Heshy. So anyway, I got to show both sides of the coin, right? So where are we? So Heshy Tischler arrested in connection to Borough Park journalist assault. So he's blaming innocent Muslim mothers in Brooklyn for and accusing their children of blowing people up. And now he allegedly led the charge to assault a journalist. Again, I take issue with that, right? I happen to be one of those things. I know what it feels like to get chased down the street because people don't know who you are. But listen to this. Bill West says that was sarcasm. You might be right. I don't know, but it's not sarcasm. No, it's not sarcasm. That is a very, very extremely Jewish thing to say to a Muslim person. It's sarcasm. If I said it to you, if you're not Jewish and I'm not Jewish and I'm not Muslim and I'm not a kid, you could say it's sarcasm. But when you look a mother in the face and said, "Oh, beautiful children, they're not strapped with bombs," that's not. I would disagree. I would argue that that's not sarcasm. That's something else. But I hear what you're saying. So here's Teshi getting arrested.
You see what they're doing? See what they're doing, guys?
What do we do?
Gentlemen, sidewalk, please.
And
Your
she
cars
stays
in the street.
strong.
Get on the sidewalk. Please get on the sidewalk.
So Heshy Tischler, that's all we're going to see there. City Council candidate Heshy Tischler was arrested Sunday night in connection to the assault of an Orthodox Jewish journalist in Borough Park last week. We saw the video. They chased him down. You remember? And they started stomping him. That's fucked up. Right? Don't make it. What I'm trying to say is, let's not. They're doing such good work. The Hasids. They're doing such good work. Don't smear it. Right? Get those. You got videos floating around of you attacking a young kid, and what else? And attacking a journalist. That's just fucked up. Don't do that. Tischler, who is also Orthodox, was taken into custody at his house in Borough Park and charged with unlawful imprisonment and inciting a riot, according to police. Unlawful imprisonment? Why had they imprison him? They didn't imprison him. Videos posted on social media show Tischler being escorted by police into a dark minivan. Tischler last Friday indicated he would be turning himself into police on Monday. So anyway, they got him. They held him down. Right? They held him. He's still in jail. Right. The bust comes after Mayor de Blasio said on Friday an arrest was nearing in Cornball's beating. So now they're coming into the community. They're finding them. They're arresting them. Right? Prosecution, right? This is this is the operation, right? Get in there and don't give them any ground. Guarantee, 100%. Mark my words. The Hasidic community will win because they will press on. When you forget all about it, they'll still be there fighting. They'll still fucking fight you. Cornblow, that's the journalist. Cornblow was punched and kicked last Wednesday by an angry crowd who screamed at him, calling him a Nazi and Hitler, amid protesters over the state's coronavirus restrictions. So I had said when I was watching it, I said, oh, they're getting that journalist because they know him. They know him. He did something. I was right. So they know who he is, and they don't like what he said. Some of the protesters were upset about Cornball's documenting of the Borough Park protests. So they don't like your opinion, so they're gonna stomp you. Not good. Not good. Heshy's lawyer, Sarah Sullivan, a Jew, said Sunday night that her client was the victim of politically motivated arrest. Yeah, Tischler definitely was. He is not guilty, and he is potentially motivated, is a politically motivated arrest, and the truth will come out. They'll let him out. They'll get him out of there. So here's Jacob Cornball. Here's Cornball. He's also a Hasid. Hasidic journalist they beat the shit out of him. You saw the video. I don't know where the video is. I don't have it up. But they stomped him, you remember? So anyway, protests. So not to be undone, the protests, this is a big story. I mean, you might not see it, but I see it as where else in America are people being prosecuted for COVID-19 nonsense and standing up for themselves? And not bowing down and not saying, oh, pretty please with sugar, don't give me a fine. I'll do what you tell, I'll jump up and down with a mask on. I'll stick the mask up my ass and run across the field holding it in my ass and I'll do anything. Anything you ask me to do, I will do. That's the majority of people right now. Terrified, scared, falling in line. But the Jews are not doing that. They're not doing that. It's the only place that I could put my finger on and say, finally, a real counter-protest to this bullshit. Thank you, Jew. So protesters gathered outside of home of assaulted journalist after arrest of Heshy Tischler. This is right up there with, this is, in my view, a mistake. This is like going to the, it's like Black Lives Matter, standing out in front of someone's house, accusing them of something they probably didn't do. Now, a reporter has an opinion. What did he say? What exactly did he say? We don't even know what the fuck the guy said. And they're out there. Dozens of noisy protesters, protesting and being noisy is good, gathered outside the Brooklyn home of an Orthodox journalist on Sunday night in reaction to the arrest of activist Heshy Tischler. So I think now it's escalating because they're blaming the journalist for pressing charges on Tischler for chasing him and beating his ass down to the ground. No Heshy, no peace. That's a spin from Black Lives Matter. They were saying no justice, no peace. In the Jewish community, it's no Heshy, no peace. Let's try that. No Heshy. No Heshy, no peace. No Heshy, no peace. No Heshy, no peace. I don't know about that, man. The protesters chanted at Jacob Cornball's house. A reporter for Jewish Insider told them. Another man shouted in a bullhorn and passing cars honked their horns in an apparent show of solidarity. Oh yeah, solidarity, man. You're not gonna, that's inescapable in the Hasid community. Tischler, who is also Orthodox, allegedly caused the attack of Cornball after some in the community were upset about the journalist's reporting on the anti-lockdown protests. Don't stomp him, humiliate him. Run him out. Tell him, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get in his face. Right? You could do that, but don't stomp him. That's crowd mentality, right? That could happen, right? That's sad. It's a sadness. The fan account of Tischler, who was arrested early Sunday night on charges of unlawful imprisonment and inciting a riot. So here's a show of strength. Here's the Hasids lining up, young men with Trump signs. Oh, Trump, come and get it. Come inject yourself into the story, Donald Trump. They're waiting for you. You want the Jew vote? Donald Trump, you want the Jew vote? Fucking speak up, man. Speak up. Second home adult. I don't know what that is. I don't know where this is. He was set to turn himself into police. All right, so we already read this. Let's see some more video.
No Heshy, no peace.
No Heshy, no peace. No Heshy, no peace.
No Heshy, no peace. No Heshy, no peace.
So this is where the journalist apparently lives up there. And he's a member of the community. He is a Hasid. So Cornball, meanwhile, thanked his supporters in a tweet that was sent out as protesters were still outside his home. The journalist was punched and kicked last Wednesday by an angry crowd who screamed at him, calling him a Nazi and calling him Hitler. The unruly protesters appeared to be egged on by Tischler. That's going to be hard to prove. How do you prove that you're a leader of a mob? You're just there. You're one of the many. You didn't say take your foot and stomp on his head, right? But I could see how it could happen. I could see how that shit could happen, right? They weren't controlled. They didn't control themselves, and they blow the message by that, right? Because now you got to talk about it, right? They're stomping a guy. The guy's got a history of hurling insults at people and Muslim moms. I'm not really with that. So what's this? Protests in Borough Park after arrest of Jewish activist Heshy Tischler. Right? Oh, look, Jews on TV. Wow, great station. Let's subscribe to that shit. Jews on television. Let's listen.
Controversial city council candidate Heshy Tischler under arrest. It comes as some of the protests against the city's crackdown on COVID hotspots turn violent. Fox 5's Kayla Mamalak has the latest for us. She's live in Borough Park, Brooklyn this morning with all the details. Kayla, good morning.
Carrie, good morning to you. And yeah, Governor Cuomo has been publicly pressuring Mayor de Blasio to use law enforcement to carry out coronavirus restrictions for months now. And over the weekend, it seems like he did.
No Heshy, no peace. No Heshy, no peace.
Dozens of angry protesters rallying outside the home of Orthodox Jewish journalist Jacob Kornblum following the arrest of a fellow member of the community, Heshy Tischler.
You see what they're doing? See what they're doing, guys?
The right-wing activist responsible for spearheading much of the unrest in Borough Park.
Well, that was interesting. Fox just called him a right-wing activist. Is that what we're seeing? Are now the Hasids going to be labeled a right? See how they flip it? How they flip it? They're right wing. That means they're going to vote for the right. Right wing. She just called him a right wing activist. Since when is the Hasidic Jewish community fucking right wing? They're liberal New Yorkers for the most part. When you look at them, they're separatists. Yeah, they are racist. They are bigots. They are all of the things that you're saying. But you could also say that they're very, very close. They're very tight knit. Right? But that's the first I've ever heard. That's the first time I've ever heard the Hasidic community, the leaders of the Orthodox Jewish community in Borough Park being called right wing. Thank you, Fox News.
Brooklyn over the past several days.
It's not. I'm sorry. It's not Fox News. I take that back. It's Good Day New York. It's a liberal paper. Oh, it is. No, but it's Fox 5.
They're doing, guys.
The right-wing activist responsible for spearheading much of the unrest in Borough Park, Brooklyn over the past several days.
Fox.
Mobilizing hundreds in protest of new coronavirus restrictions put in place by Governor Cuomo. Tischler now facing charges for allegedly leading an attack on Corn Blue during a protest last week.
He's a liar, he's a rat, and we came to make sure that if Heshy can't sleep, Jacob's not sleeping either.
This comes alongside a weekend filled with crackdowns in New York City's coronavirus hotspots. Officials breaking up an illegal rave in Queens. Deputies found more than 100 people at this event in Cunningham Park. The 4 organizers now facing multiple offenses, including some that are criminal. Overall, the city's sheriff's office issued more than $150,000 worth of fines and at least 62 summonses, 5 of which were to houses of worship this weekend alone.
I understand the desire to hold large religious ceremonies. I understand that. I understand how important it is to their culture and to their religion. I also understand that it, as a matter of fact, jeopardizes human life.
Jeopardizes human life, said Cuomo. Jeopardize. The Jews having a religious gathering are jeopardizing human life. How many Jews, how many deaths? How many lives have they caused the death of, Mr. Cuomo? How many deaths have you caused? You caused roughly, on our estimation, 11,000 deaths of elderly people in nursing homes. You, mofo, have caused the death of people, not the Hasids choking chickens. They actually do that, man. The suktan, whatever that fucking, I don't like that shit. You go over there and they choke chickens and slice their throats and they eat the chicken, but they torture the fucking thing. But how many people have the chicken chokers, fucking chicken chokers in Borough Park for choking chickens on their holiday? How many people have they killed? You killed way more than they killed in this whole thing. Crazy.
Back here live in Borough Park this morning, clearly a quiet morning, which is a sharp contrast to what we saw here just last night. Heshy Tischler, meantime, is still behind bars, expected to face a judge later today. He's facing charges of unlawful imprisonment and inciting a riot.
So this is news today. It's late last night, and it's a holiday, so it's very likely that Tischler, unless they give him a little preferential treatment, he'll be in jail until tomorrow morning, Tuesday, because everything is closed, everything is stuck, right? And the weekend, all the weekend criminals, 72 hours in the cell, man, they're gonna torture his ass. I was on the bus yesterday. I didn't take any pictures, man, but I tell you, the bus. I took the subway, and the subway was down for a few stops. So in New York City, when that happens, what they do is you get out of the train, you go upstairs, and you take a shuttle bus to the next stop or the next few stops to get past the problem. And I got on that bus, and I could tell you, man, it was fucking packed, man. It was like old school, packing people in. Where's the outrage? Where's the criminal prosecution of the guy standing outside of the bus saying, "Get on the bus. Get on the bus. It's the last bus," or just get on the bus. This is your bus, and you don't have a choice. I mean, you could stand out in the street, but that's what they're providing, a very severely crowded bus. Do I give a shit? No, I don't give a fucking shit. I don't care. I think it's a farce anyway. But you're prosecuting people for having a few hundred people in a park outside at night with chairs in Queens. And you're fining the good people of Borough Park, tens of thousands of dollars for gathering for a religious ceremony. Right? They pack in for a religious ceremony, or not even 100 people at a religious ceremony, and they get fined. But you, Cuomo and De Blasio, are packing people in all over the city, packing people into crowded buses and trains, and there's no problem there. Right?
For now, we're live in Borough Park, Brooklyn. Bianca, I'll send it back inside to you.
Kayla Mamlop for us. Kayla, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Controversial city council candidate.
I love
back inside
hot
to you.
anchors, man.
Kayla Mamlop.
Oh man, look at this. Look at this, man. Make you looky. Eye candy. Yum yum. So I think that's really all I got right now. No, we're going to talk about some white privilege. White privilege. So we already we already flushed this story out. So this guy's great, man. This is the guy I was playing at the beginning of the show. So white privilege, right? I don't know for why. I mean, I don't want to seem like a racist or I want to, select blacks that point out the white privilege nonsense is nonsense, right? If a white person says white privilege is nonsense, it doesn't have much weight. But when a black man says it, when the black says it, right, or someone who just happens to have black skin, whatever that means, right? It's black. What does it mean to be black? Do you have to have black skin, or you gotta be down with the black? Be down with the black. But listen to this guy. Enough with the anti-white narrative. This is old. 2 million views. Wow. From June 2020. So a little while ago, while that shit was heating up, the Black Lives Matter shit, this fine gentleman said this.
I've had enough. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video.
Okay.
Make sure you still subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video.
Okay.
Let's get into this. This anti-police, anti-white rhetoric needs to come to an end. I have had enough.
Yep.
I've had enough. I made a video earlier about my son getting a notification on his EA Sports Madden game talking about Black Lives Matter and oppression of black people, which is an opinion by some. It's not verifiable, unequivocal facts, but yet they push it on young people. And then one of my good friends who happened to be white, and the funny thing is we have the same last name, we go on rides together, and he showed me on the app, the Strava app, that you just upload your rides to. Everybody have a good time. You like people's stuff. If you see their rides, they're impressive. Pro riders are on there. Everybody's having a good time. Why on God's green earth do they feel they need to give an advisory about how they've been a racist organization all this time? And that black people need to special treatment, and you need to give us handouts, and worried about black athletes. Listen, man, as a black man in America, and I've been black for 33 years, I am sick of the pandering. I'm sick of the false equivalence. I'm sick of people painting the picture like I am less than in my own country. This country belongs to me just like anybody else. I have never experienced racism in America. I haven't. Wow. That doesn't mean that other people haven't. But I don't have to walk around with my head down, walking around acting like a victim when I haven't had nothing to do with that. And
he had nothing to do with it.
None of the people that,
as a white person, I've had very, very quite a number of run-ins with racist blacks in New York. There's racism all over the place, but in the job, in the work, environment. So as a white person, I've had more racial encounters, than this guy has, being a black American. Very interesting, right?
That I know are racist. I don't know a racist. I've never been around racists. Why do I have to be subject to idea that people are forcing on me just because of the color of my skin? It makes no sense to me.
Yep.
And then I have a lot of friends who are white. It's not fair that I can have a say and I can talk about my opinions about the American flag. I can give my statements about Black Lives Matter and how ridiculous I believe their organization is. This is America. You have the freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to say. Why is it that my white friends don't have that same right? If you say all lives matter, which is true, that includes black lives, ladies and gentlemen, you get fired. They fired a guy who's a commentator, fired him because he said all lives matter in a text message. You are not going to accomplish the goal that you want if you are doing it with hatred and vitriol. Mm-hmm. If you are doing it with the idea that you're going to force people to kneel and bow down to you for sins of their ancestors. I don't understand.
I want to end that. Let's talk about that. The sins of our ancestors, right? I was thinking about that. I actually made a video, and I didn't release the video because I wasn't in the best mind frame. Right? Sometimes I make videos all the time. I make videos all day long. People don't see them. All of them that I make, they're all of the videos on my phone, right? One day, maybe I'll release the videos. Marcus Conte's unreleased video series. But I made a video, and I was flushing out that exact comment that that dear black people, like a letter to black people, dear black people, I wasn't there. Right? I wasn't. You're blaming me for things that people did a long time ago, right? Allegedly did a long time ago. We don't even have an accurate documentation of what exactly they did. We know that there was slavery. We know that there was oppression. We know that there was, a slave trade and all that stuff. But to blame me for some sort of tie-in to my ancestry, right? My people were from Italy. They're not from fucking. They're not from old America where they had slaves. My people were from Italy, right? Why are you blaming me? I was not there. How fucking hard is it for you to understand that I have nothing to do with that? Right? But then they'll say, no, because the color of your skin is better than the color of my skin because I said so, because I want your skin. I would rather have your skin than my skin because I feel your skin works to an advantage, gives you a certain advantage in a world where I say, you know what I mean? It doesn't, when you break it down, it doesn't even make sense. And this guy's totally getting it. But blaming me for my ancestry, that's what you're doing. Right? I'm white, and you want to hold me down, right? Because of something people did hundreds of years ago, or a million years ago, or 25 years ago. I have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with any of that. I am your friend. I go into Washington Square Park, and I don't even know who's black or white or I lived in Manhattan for 25 years. I don't even think of color. And the audacity, the balls, the testicles to say that I'm a racist or that I have some sort of privilege over somebody else is so fucking ridiculous. And this guy gets it. He definitely gets it.
How we've gotten to this point in the United States of America. How are we letting people do our country like this? They claim that they're protesting the death of one black man who happened to be an extreme criminal. Does that mean he deserved to die? No, it doesn't. The police officer need to be taken to task as well. But he wasn't a Martin Luther King. He wasn't Jesus Christ. He wasn't many black people that have lost their lives that didn't get.
So this is a pretty good rant. I want to jump on this guy. Here's another outstanding individual. I'm going to subscribe here.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan.
What's up, Anthony Brian Logan?
Today, we got to talk about a thing that's been on my mind for a little while, ever since this whole George Floyd kerfuffle has unfolded itself, and that is the copious amount of white guilt I'm seeing all over my timeline. I'm talking
white guilt. I love his background, man. I love this guy. That's a great look, man. Dude, you got the look, man. You got the look.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. Everywhere I'm seeing just so much white guilt. Now, before I get into it and before I tell you why it's a bad thing and shouldn't exist at all, I'm going to roll a few videos, probably 2 or 3, depending upon what I can grab up right now. After we get done watching those, I'll talk about what was done in those videos, why it's bad. Then I'll give you...
It's a good video. Watch this.
...my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence.
I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible.
So this is white inferiority. This is a black person up in front of the camera, up in front at the podium. And all of these whites have gathered around to raise their hands in guilt for being white. That's what we're witnessing right here on a college campus.
I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible.
And do everything in my power to educate my community.
And do everything in my power to educate my community.
I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones.
I will love my black neighbors the same as my white.
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me.
This is hysterical right here. Watch this shit.
I work for Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry. I work for Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry that I scared you.
That's okay.
But since I work for that company, my CEO has told me to come out today and to bring you on your knees because you have white privilege. So if they see that a white person is getting on their knees, that shows solidarity for the situation. And could you just please apologize for your white privilege? Just apologize.
I am. I'm trying to think of the right words to say because that's a big thing to say.
It's big.
That comes from.
It's large in this country.
I'm incredibly sorry that.
With this country, we have that president Donald Duck, that clown in office. He's.
It looks like a white. His hand was white. The guy speaking is white, right?
That's a big thing to say.
It's big.
That comes from.
It's large in this country.
I'm incredibly sorry that.
With this country, we have that president.
His hand is white. There's his hand. You see his hand? Is that the hand of a black man? No, that's a white man. She doesn't even know. She's bowing to a white man talking about white privilege about blacks. Like, it doesn't. She's on her fucking knees. The woman is on her fucking knees in the middle of the street, begging for forgiveness for her ancestors' treatment of blacks, allegedly.
And Donald Duck, that clown in office, he's brought a lot of bigotry, and you're not a part of it, right?
No, God.
No. And so,
Thank
just.
you for letting me have a moment.
Okay, you have a great day.
All right, you saw those videos. You see what's happening now. I'm not really sure where to begin. Let's start with the one where they were at the college. That was in Bethesda, Maryland. That's where they were reciting that thing to the one guy that you didn't see. That was crazy. First of all, that was a student-led, quote-unquote, protest. And again, protest, rioters, same thing, because those people on the ground give cover and give excuses for those that go out there, loot, shoot, rob, steal, kill. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's how that works. All right, that's part of the reason why it's a bad thing, but I'll get to that in a moment. That was a disgusting display. You had like almost 1,000 people on their hands and knees, hands up, basically just beating themselves in the ground. Okay, you don't need to do that.
I saw quite a bit of that right out in the street in New York City. I would see entire rallies stop in the middle of the street, and there would be like 1,000, 1,500 people kneeling on their knees, ranting that same nonsense. Or you'd see like gatherings in Washington Square Park when Black Lives Matter came in, and they would be ranting the same thing about the white privilege and how the black man has been oppressed and all this stuff, and it just doesn't mesh with the times, right? The point is, it doesn't really add up. And any smart thinking person, regardless of color, sees it. Is really the point.
Doesn't matter what color you are. If you didn't do anything to somebody, then why are you apologizing? Why are you trying to be so apologetic? For what? You didn't do anything. It's not your fault. Don't feel any guilt if you're white, black, or whatever. And you know what? I also do see some black guilt. That's going on too.
Yeah.
A lot of black folks that grew up in more well-to-do households in the suburbs and whatnot, they see those of us that have come from the street or that are still in the street, they kind of look down upon us, but they think that they're looking in a way like it's empathy. They're looking down, but it's like empathy, and then they overcompensate when we do bad things. Shout out to Candace Owens. She was talking about this. It was in the book that she read. I forget the book. But one point that the author of the book made is that in the black community, we tend to give our miscreants, our cretins, the lowest of us, the most elevation. We put them on high pedestals. Guys that then beat old ladies in the head, rob little kids or whatever. We put them on a high pedestal because we feel guilty because they're in that position. They grew up in poverty, single parent household, whatever. So we try to put them on a high pedestal. It's just like when somebody come home from the penitentiary in the black community, sometimes, a lot of time, most of the time, they get a party, they get all kind of celebration, all kind of daps and hugs. But when you come home from college, it ain't the same way. And you kind of just like, okay, whatever. It's no real big deal. But
that's interesting. That's very interesting. In the black community, they celebrate. You get a party when you come home from jail. But when you come home from college, they're like, what the fuck, man? I don't know what that is. That's like that. I don't think that's exclusive to black neighborhoods. My neighborhood was like that. With the gangsters, if you came back from jail, oh, you were a fucking celebrity, a hero. But if you came back from college, they're like, what does that mean? Where did you go? What is college? Who, where? Well, we can't, isn't college down the block? What'd you go away for? So anyway. But anyway, Mark Conte reporting. Thank you very much for joining me on the show. Thank you for joining me. Oh yeah, man. So thanks everybody. That was pretty good today. Right? We learned a little bit about Heshy Tischler, and I'll predict. Mark Conte will predict that I would like to see Trump come out a little stronger for the Hasidic community because they are fighting the good fight. But I'll predict that the Jews, the Orthodox Jews in Borough Park, really don't need your fucking help because it is going to be interesting. And that guy Tischler is running. He's running for the city council, and if he has the support of the community already, he's going to win. So you're not going to get rid of him. He's gonna be in the city council banging his fucking fist on the table the whole time he's there, and then you can't get rid of him because then he has power, he has influence. He's running for public office. The guy's gonna win, right? And I guarantee you 100% that the Hasidic community will not be paying a single fucking fine. So cheers, Jews. We once hated you, or some people hate the Jews. I never hated you. I have no problem. I love Kabbalah. I love my Kabbalah. Thanks everybody for joining me. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Timothy Martini on the chat. Johnny Half. Hey, Johnny Half. What's up, Johnny Half? Johnny Half. Jim Stanford. Mike Fletcher. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Have a nice day. Bill West. Love Bill West. Love Bill West. C. Bradley. Jim Gerard is here. JB. Everybody. 2 days. Take. Jay Burrow. Andrew G. We got a great crowd here, man. Got a lot of thinkers. You guys think more than I do. You keep me thinking because sometimes it's hard to think all the time. You guys keep me thinking. Rulir Gabur. A Jew. Good morning, everybody. Jason Walsh, Einstein disguised as Robin Hood, Mike Fletcher, Jesse Snipes. Jesse Snipes is here. Christian Doom, Defender, Cindy Mini. Thank you, everybody, man. Thank you, everybody. Peace and love. Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus was not a racist.